Just checking. Okay, this video is live now, it says on Facebook. So let's take a deep breath.
I know.
Ooh, a little
We're changing.
stress away oil to begin.
Ooh, I don't have any
I'm like
oils down
obsessed
here.
with this right now. The stress away. Like, I don't know. I'm like super obsessed with it. Obviously, my body
I always
needs
have that
something.
one. I have that. I don't have the roller. I always have that in. I always mix it in because it's nice. It's almost like a vanilla-y soft scent. So I always mix it with something else. It's like, well, there's an extra one in there.
Oh, good morning, Jamie. Jamie is with us. And hello, everybody. Happy September. Happy fall. I almost said happy spring.
No, we have a little ways to go before that. Yeah.
Happy fall
Labor Day
and
weekend.
happy 8th episode, Miss Jen.
Is 8.
Yeah. Love and light, creating miracles, empowerment, enlightenment. 8th episode. It was last year in November, I think we started talking about doing this, and we began in February. So here we are.
I can't even believe, how is it February to now September? I don't even know.
I don't even know either. Good morning, Sherry and Laura and Terry. Thank you all so much for joining us. If you are with us, say a quick hello and be sure to click the link that is provided by StreamYard that will give us permission to know who you are so we don't identify with you as Facebook user.
There's a lot of identities out there right now in the shifts of the world, but we don't want it to be Facebook user.
No.
You can identify as anything you'd like. We are open, but not Facebook user, right?
Not Facebook user. Definitely not.
Hello, Angel.
Oh, Angel is with us. Good morning, girlfriend. Hello, hello. And boy, oh boy, do we have an incredible topic to chat about. It's so broad, though. It's so broad, but it is in the forefront right now in so many different aspects. And so I'm going to just put this out there right now that today we're talking about personal freedom. So
I think it's a perfect thing on Labor Day weekend, on a place where we honor, we honor ourselves, we honor others. That, this is a perfect topic that keeps rising in so many. Well, we were just having a discussion, but we always have a discussion before the discussion, and it just flows through everything. It weaves through every aspect of ours.
Yeah. So while we're waiting for other people to join us, as Facebook gives them the notification, what does personal freedom mean to you? Let us know. Put it in the chat, and let's share that with one another, because I think the definition of personal freedom is different for everybody. But yeah, it all kind of melts in together into one big whole, beautiful space of peace. Really?
Well, when we're happy. Well, yeah, that's actually our discussion is so many people are not feeling at peace with it. And so what we want to do is, that's our goal, is to recenter and bring back, oh, my ear is like ringing, bring back the peace of what freedom is. So we're very, very, so choice, Sherry says choice.
Yes, definitely a choice. Even in the difficult moments, even in the midst of trauma and chaos, there is that spark of light to find that split second of freedom. That split second, and that split second can allow you to travel to more seconds and minutes and hours and days, if you allow it to.
Sure, because what happens to many of us as we're looking for, as people are putting their answers down, is that we tend to focus on what we don't want, right? We focus on what has been taken away, or the belief system has been taken away, or the fear of what's been taken away. And so we put all this energy and focus on what we don't believe it is, and what we the don't, right? The dense heaviness, that it moves us, that our needle, so much farther away from the peace. And even recognizing those seconds, those minutes, those hours, right? We don't recognize, as what Michelle's saying, those moments when we're not in a line with what we want. And we spend so much time looking at what we don't want
Don't
and
want.
don't want, right? We cannot
Mhm.
recognize what we have, what is present, because we're looking and fearing what will be, what is going to happen, like the whole, this massive picture, and we move completely away from what we currently have. That
Yeah.
fear. We'll get
And
lots of answers.
the more we focus on the of what we don't want, and this was actually our topic last month, really.
Hmm.
So funny how that comes full circle. Not funny, but funny, you know what I mean? Yeah, it's intertwined.
That
It's
eight,
all about
that eight.
yeah,
Hmm.
it's all about that thread and what we're weaving and what we're creating, the tapestry. Is it full of color or is it muted? Um,
Mm.
That's not where I was going with that, but okay, thank you for that insight.
I
Um,
love it.
but yeah, when we're focusing more on what it is we don't want, we're actually bringing more of that towards us, more of that feeling, more of that energy. And this was actually something that I said in my September message on YouTube, which aired on September 1st. So I'll share that link later if you haven't caught it. It was about release, but the bigger message there was that our body doesn't know the difference between the physical action and the thought action. And what that means is when we're placing ourselves into a position of something that doesn't feel good, or we're remembering something that happened to us, our body still thinks we're going through that again.
Sure.
So let's say you have a traumatic experience, which we've all had trauma in our life. There's no doubt, there's no denying that. But when we think about that over and over and over again, our body is going through that over and over and over again. So if nothing else, to change your mindset and your thought process, give your body a break.
Oh,
Give your body that
experience it
break, or your
as if it's
body
the
will
first
break.
time. Yeah. No, it's as if it's doing it all for the first time. It's not just a
Yes.
memory. It is walking through the fire again and again and again. So we didn't experience it once. We've experienced it hundreds of times, depending on how many times we bring that to the forefront of our mind. Like, I'm sure if someone is embarrassed about something, right, you can bring a situation to your head and you suddenly feel flushed. I've had that happen where I'm like,
Yeah.
"Oh my gosh, wait a minute. I'm standing here and, in a fear, that as if it's happening again, physically responding to it
Yeah.
as if it's happening in the now." Right? And you're like, "Wait a minute. Oh my gosh, this is crazy." Like, this is not happening again, and I'm not going to give that the power, right? That's that authentic power. Oh my gosh,
And
look
how do
at
we
all these people.
I know, we gotta read some of these because these
Yeah, because
I mean, these are
this
really
is it.
good.
Yeah, we were
All right.
talking about that before. We're like, we want to know what people are thinking.
So we were talking about personal freedoms, and Jamie says making choice for me and no one else. I love that. I absolutely love that. Which, you know what? I brought this with me. I read this to you the other day. This is one of my handy dandy references, and I know you love it too.
I
Um,
do. Good
and
points
there's so
down.
many
Thank you.
highlighted things in my book. But the other day, I forget where I was in my mindset. So I grabbed the book and I said, "Hey, what is it that I need to hear?" And so my book opened up to this page and to this passage, and it says, "Each choice that you make to dwell in negativity or to take up residence in your heart serves perfectly the evolution of your soul. All roads lead to home."
Mm.
So it's about your choice on where you're going to dwell. Where are you going to take yourself?
Yesterday was my post on, or the day before, not being chained to choice. We get to choose and choose and choose and choose and choose again
Yeah.
every
And if you
moment.
don't like the choice, then choose again. If that
Mhm.
choice doesn't feel right, then choose again. You
A lot
know?
of choice I'm seeing here. Yeah.
Laura says, freedom to be myself without judgment for my choices. Yeah.
Ooh, this is actually very powerful because I love that you
Mhm.
picked this one. It's not about others' judgment. That's gonna happen. It's free will, right? So we've got
Yeah.
that. But the beauty of Laura's statement here is that's the power that we have, that authentic to not judge ourselves based on other people's reactions. That's really
That's
key.
hard.
Like that's it is, but that's the secret sauce when we step there and we are so aligned authentically, the authentic power versus external power.
Yeah.
That's when we're like, okay, this is my that's freedom to speak and hold space for yourself untethered to other people's judgment because it's going to be there and it's actually honoring. There's a place like that. I will reset myself when I'm with a group of people that I see the judgment on their face. I feel the waves. I'm sure you know what I'm talking about. Like just like I could feel them just radiating off of them. And so when I feel it, my first reaction is like, you're like, oh, and then I have to like recenter. And I actually will say in my head and in my heart, I honor your choice to judge me. I honor it because guess what? I do it too.
Yeah.
I'm judging them for judging me.
Yeah.
So when I can say, I honor your freedom, right? I can't take away that freedom, but I honor their freedom to judge me. And then where I come back into is me, my authentic power to not receive it and be like, am I good with that? Yeah, I'm good with that.
I think
That's
that's where a
freedom.
lot of the fear today is coming in is there's a lot of judgment that's happening in the world for choices that are being made or choices that are not being made. And that's their choice to judge you. And you can't go into something for fear of being judged. You have to go into something for knowing your truth
Yes.
and knowing where you stand. Where is the strength of your stance? And judgment or no judgment from self or from anybody else, when you're standing in your truth, there is no judgment.
And
The judgment is free.
there's 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 the key right there, right? We want to not be judged, but we're judging someone else really for judging us. And so there's freedom. There's authentic power from within, not from no one can take that. We slip in un unassumingly sometimes to the victim mode, right? Like, how dare you judge me? And then we
Yeah.
become the victim. Instead of you have the freedom to do whatever you want. But where am
So
I in this?
let's take that example. How dare you? Who are you to judge me? How does that feel? How
Mm,
does that feel for you and your heart and your soul? It doesn't feel
it
good.
no, it
No.
feels like ick. It's like that little emoji with the ick, with the green
Yeah.
face. It's like, ooh, I don't. It's constricting,
Mhm. So in that moment of
definitely.
ick, you have that moment to pause and be like, "Hmm, you know what? You do you. I'll do me respectfully.
Mhm.
It's okay. I'm not going to dislike you, and I'm not going to dislike myself."
And here you just said something really powerful that here's the next thing that I hear and I feel. I don't necessarily hear, but I feel from people. Sometimes I hear is like you said, you do you and I do me, right? And so we all feel like, well, then that's how they should be too, right? If I think
Mm,
that way, I'll do me and you do you. Then if we both do that, then it's good. But here's the caveat: many people don't agree with that, and they're not on that vibration, they're not there. So when we say that, we're thinking, well, why can't you do that? Because we're not living on the same vibration.
right. And that's
And
okay.
and there's the piece where like we'll question, but why do I have to always be the one who blah dot 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 dot? And the answer
Mhm.
is simply because we can and because
Right.
we choose to. Or don't
Because we
choose to.
choose
There's
to.
a freedom. There's a freedom if you don't choose. But most people that are going to log in and listen are working as a multi-sensory person, not as a five sensory person in here, right? We're doing higher mind, we're connected to our higher self, our angels, our team, right? And so why should we? Well, you get the choice not to, but I'm pretty sure we chose to.
Well, that's why we're here.
Exactly.
Right? That was our
Exactly.
choice. That's why we're here doing this episode. That's why we're
Yep.
doing what we do to help other people to get to that space.
Exactly.
That is one of our many purposes in life, is to show people the way to live in that 5-dimensional frequency.
And honor when they don't. Because we chose that, and this is
Absolutely.
right, that's where I think we forget sometimes, because that was such a powerful statement, whether you knew it or not. It was like, "I'll do me and you do you," but many people don't see it that same way,
They
and
want
we
you to
get
do them.
angry. Right, and then we get angry because,
Yes.
"But why can't you just, like, see it that we'll both be equal?" But they cannot, because that's not their soul contract. That's not what they came here to be. They're not ready yet, and they may not be ready in this entire lifetime,
Right.
because it's
And
it's
I
a
don't
it's a
always see that. I
gift.
mean, how many times do I message you and go, "What is wrong with people? Why can't they
I know.
understand?" Yeah.
Because we go there, right? You're like, "God,"
Right.
and then we're like, "Okay."
Okay.
I
No,
just
this is
needed to
good.
hear it, right? I just needed to hear it outside of myself or see it in print and then go, "Wait, this doesn't feel good." Right? But
Yeah.
we're not spiritually bypassing it. Not like, "Oh, we're perfect and all people." No, we're like, "What the flip is wrong?" And then we're like, "Oh,
Yeah.
okay.
Yeah.
Okay."
What is happening? What is happening? All right, let's
So
see.
many I love, there was somebody who said, I don't, it might be gone now, it might be up there. It was something about making the choice and then being not responsible, but accepting what comes from their choice. I love that. That's an authentic power.
This one.
Oh, there we go. Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
Freedom is making my choice and accepting the outcomes. Oh my gosh, Sarah, that is so
I
powerful.
know I saw it and I was like, "Wait, where did it go?" Because yeah, that is
Wow. Okay, girl, you need to make that into a meme and it needs to be shared with the world. This is
absolutely.
huge right here. Freedom is making my choice and accepting the outcomes that are going to transpire from that choice.
And it's
So
okay.
this is one of the things I love about my daughter is even when she was younger, she would always think about the consequence on the other side of her before she would do something or say something.
Hmm.
Not like she was always concerned about what other people thought, but
Mhm.
she was like, "Okay, if I say this, am I going to hurt that other person or is it going to project in the wrong way?" And it was very profound for a young girl.
Mhm.
And she still does it to this day. And I do it more and more,
Beautiful.
not even realizing it anymore, but can you accept what the
Mhm.
outcome, what the fallout might be, or what the expansion might be?
I like that. I like the expansion because we tend to look at it as a fallout, right? Like, I don't want to say this or I don't want to make this choice because this is what's going to happen, like as if it's going to fall apart. But you know, you have to sometimes bring it to the ground to rebuild it. So
Yeah.
the expansion, the evolution, right? And even accepting, I'm feeling the word is embracing, right? It's not like, oh, I have to deal with this. It's like, I'm this is my personal freedom. I'm making a choice. And then whatever comes, I'm saying bring it, right? Bring it because this is going to bring about a change, a shift, a growth, an expansion, as you just said.
But I'll be honest with you with the thought of expansion. There's a lot of my clients that are fearful
Mhm.
of the expansion. They're fearful of that ride of where it's going to take them. And so living in the fallout, living in the negativity almost becomes like a security blanket, a comfort,
Oh, sure. Sure.
because it's so much easier to find other people to stand in that corner and to gossip and
Hmm.
to just, what's the word I'm looking for? The community of like-minded
Oh,
people. It
yeah.
depends on which like-minded people you're hanging with. And so are you going to stay in that space? Like that blanket of comfort is heavy. And it's not like the weighted anxiety blankets that they sell in the stores now.
Not that nice kind of heavy.
It's really not comforting in that way. It's a falsehood of comfort. And breaking out of that is difficult. But breaking out of that is where you're going to begin to discover those moments, those split seconds of peace, and realize so much more about yourself, that that's not where you want to be.
And it's a great, this is going to be sound like a strange thing to say, but it is a great place to be in, to look at and make a new choice, because I lived in that place for many, many years. I lived in fear. I would play out full on scenarios as if I had the magic 8 ball and I knew all the answers, which I didn't. But you're completely right. There's a comfort, and there's also a consequence, though.
Mm-hmm.
And my consequence was a great amount of anxiety, a great amount of depression, of medication that I had to take for both. And there was a point where I think my father-in-law, who has passed on, it's one of the first messages, and I've shared this with you, that I heard in my head as I was putting on my makeup at one time, and it was years ago now. And it was, if you don't want to end up where I am in that way, because he had died of pancreatic cancer, you need to shift something. You need to change. And he didn't say shift. You need to change something. It was very basic. You need to change. And I was so taken aback. I remember I was putting my mascara on. And I looked back at myself, and it was so real. It was so knowing. And it wasn't it wasn't a fear of you're going to die, but you're not going to be well. And I already wasn't well. And I didn't know exactly, but I took it step by step by step, one little stone, little next step, and that's how I end up here.
I was laughing at your analogy of stone.
Oh, yeah, I got a pocket full, I got a gallbladder full of stone. Yeah.
Sorry, but
Now
laughter
I'm
is the best
releasing.
medicine.
It is, but it's the total truth. I said that. Like, this is somebody said to
Yeah.
me, recently, and I won't say who. Actually, there's nobody on here because I know they're not. But they said, is this really worth it? Because we're both following this healing higher self life, right? And he said, is this worth it? You seem like you're having more issues now
Mm.
physically
Mm-hmm.
than you did before when we first met. I said, no, they were all there.
Yeah.
Now they're coming to the surface so that they can be released. And I'll
Yeah.
take the small things over the big stuff.
Release. That is my theme for September. That was the big message for the collective um, for September. And I'm actually hosting a live meditation event for the release. The release is hard though. It's not just, the whole let it go. Oh, just
Which
let it
part?
go.
Which part? Like, let's. I like this, and then we've got some beautiful comments too. But which part? Because I think this is important. So let's name it so that we don't look at and set up all of release as being too cumbersome and not want to go there. So what
Oh,
part?
no, definitely not
Yeah,
all of it.
yeah. But what part? Because like we'll call it out, and people that maybe they don't even realize what it is that's hard, so that we can lean through it. Which part do you think is the hardest?
What part is the hardest? It's the thoughts. The thoughts that
Mm,
just are on loop, that just keep
mhm.
going over and over and over, and you keep telling yourself the same thing, the same thing, the same thing, and it's like, it's telling you the same thing and the same thing for a reason, right? For
Mhm.
you to look deeper into that thought and why that thought keeps appearing. Um, but I
I
think
love
I think
that.
it Go ahead.
No, I love that because that's what the reason why I asked was that so we could give people um an action, an intention in the morning in their meditation or in their prayers or in their angel writing, whatever it might be, is to that's why I was like, can you give me so we can then go take that next step is, allow me or thank you for allowing me to see my thoughts or to see the falseness in my thoughts because that we were just talking about awareness, right? So if we
Right,
can become the first step is being aware that it's even happening because I didn't
right.
know my thoughts they were
No,
just
me
on
neither.
they were on replay. I had no idea. Now I'll catch myself sometimes it'll be third, fourth time I've thought something. I'm like, wait a minute. I just thought that 3 or 4 times I didn't even realize it. So if we can call in our higher self in our meditations in the morning or wherever we or your prayers or wherever it is, and say thank you, not please, because it's yours if you're intending it, to be more aware of your repeat thoughts or of your fearful thoughts and that they're not true.
Yeah. Today, I mean, just simply say, today, make me more aware.
I love
Today, help
that.
me recognize, help me see
So we
what's
dec
being
so we d
shown.
Yeah, so it doesn't have to feel hard because isn't
Right.
our goal is to put that momentum, and by recognizing that it's not a pretend, it is hard, but then we can choose flow and we can choose ease, right? But we
Right.
do need to recognize it. So you brought about a really important truth that it feels hard. So then what are we going to do to make it feel easier and
I,
bring the ease?
I think it feels hard because people look at the big picture, right? They
Mm,
look at the whole consolidation of the process,
mhm,
whatever that process is. Everybody's process is different. But if we can go into, remember, was it last week we were talking about the awareness and the little black dot that was in the middle of the
mhm,
big white circle? If we can
yep,
just look at that little black dot and start there
mhm.
with bring it to the forefront. Thank you for showing this to me. Thank you for showing me what this means. Thank you for bringing it to my attention. Thank you for, whatever
And thank you for I love that, and thank you because I'm gonna be doing that with my students. Thank you for showing me how small that is in comparison to
comparatively.
all the white light around it, right? Because
Yeah.
that's what our focus is. So if we can, like you just said, like we tend to look at that big, big, big picture, which is overwhelming. So thank you for allowing me to see how small that is compared to the big picture of space, all that, bring that contrast in and recognize it, which is
Yeah.
fantastic. Oh my gosh, there's so many comments.
I know.
And
This is fantastic. You guys I
yeah.
love it. Joining the conversation today with Jen and Michelle on the Connection, our 8th episode. And we are talking about personal freedom today. So, I like this one. This is from Terry St. John Donovan. Freedom is to see with a clear lens.
Hmm.
And how do we get to that space of clarity? It's through recognition, what we were just talking about. When we can call it out and bring it forward, we can begin to look at it in a much better way.
Without judgment, expectations.
Angel says breaking out of it is liberty, freedom. Yeah,
Mm.
that breaking out. Let's see. Meditation and freedom doesn't change. Is it changes the way we view life. Meditation and
Okay,
freedom.
doesn't have to change what's happening. It changes how our view,
How?
our clear
Yes.
lens, as Terry had said. Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Let's see. And Angel laughs at the
I know
analogy of
it's
the
not.
sun.
If you didn't know
Laura,
and you're watching this, I have to get my gallbladder out next week. That's why we're laughing about it. So if you don't know why we're, because and it's like filled with stones. So that's what the joke is.
gratitude to acknowledge for loopy thoughts, and then we have the power to dismiss it. Oh, I like that. Like, yeah, okay, bye. Not today. I've done that a lot actually, where those old thoughts start to surface again,
Mm.
and I kind of do the no, no, not today. No, not happening. Not going there. Don't like that road.
Nope,
Don't like that road.
definitely not.
All right, let's see what else we have here. Everyone has a right to their journey, their perceptions, beliefs, emotions, choices. Exactly. Not mine to own. Exactly. And respect is a great word. And yes, doing so without expectation. Yeah.
That's the key, that last part. Again, going back to we think that if we do that, we're whether we realize it or not, we're expecting that someone else will do that, in return. And so when that doesn't happen, that brings about a great amount of anger and resentment, right? Because we are expecting we're doing it. And so, if I respect you, you respect me. But there's that freedom that they still have to choose to own. Then we go into that your truths, right? What's a truth?
Yeah. Yeah.
Their truth is just as true. There's a lot of truths I don't wanna visit because 'cause they're just not healthy for me, but it doesn't mean they're not true. right? So we go into the truth. So their truth is equally as true as mine.
Yeah.
That's
So
a
true.
there's a yeah, there's a challenge to really, really get that and not feel personally attacked.
Yeah. To know that your truth is not necessarily my truth. And we can have different truths. It doesn't mean a situation's not true, like you said, but the truth of how you are digesting it, the truth of how you are um, turning the words of it,
Mhm,
to for your authentic being. Yes, we can change the words and the scenarios to fit any narrative. That's so true. But if you take those words that you're turning and changing and whatever to fit your narrative, is that your truth though?
mhm.
Is that your truth? And how does that feel within you? Are you jumping on the bandwagon or are you creating your own bandwagon? And when you're riding on your own bandwagon, that is where your authenticity is going to shine through, and you're going to be able to find the freedom in that choice. If you're not feeling freedom from that choice, it's not your truth.
And that can and to go with that, I love that, is that can change. Like, there's
Yes.
so many things going on, and honestly, it's not that we've talked about this before. We're not talking about specific subjects because we don't want it to only be a specific subject. This is so global and so big that you need to be able to take it and attach it to wherever that is in your life. It could be personal within your home, within your marriage, within your family, within extended family. It could be global in what's going on in the world, right? So it's really not about the story. It's about the truth of this conversation and then where you take it. So it's not a fear of having hard conversations. It's knowing that it's really not about the story. It just
No.
shows up differently, right? And one thing that I'm seeing happening right now in freedom is that, well, me personally, I have to recenter to it, is that I have thoughts, I have beliefs, I have knowings, and I had a meditation last year and I've shared it with some people who they showed me that I can change and not be chained to what I have spoken at some point. At any moment, I have the freedom to choose and change my mind about something. Because sometimes we have this fear, like, well, people have heard me speak about this particular topic, whatever it might be, and now they're going to think I'm afraid. Now they're going to think that I'm a hypocrite. Now that right. So God forbid you change your mind about something. I'm being sarcastic, but we have this fear because other people have heard us announce or speak our truth, right? And now we're afraid to change our mind. We've lost our freedom, our own personal freedom, based on the fear of letting someone else down or letting this group down or whatever it might be. Does that make sense? Is that we
It makes
can,
total sense. Yeah.
yeah,
Because
and
as
I
soon as
see
you
that.
start to see things, when you see yourself and your situation from a space of truth, that opens the door for you to see things more clearly from an overview,
Mhm.
from an objective view as opposed to a subjective view, a space where
Right.
you can learn and a space where you can understand. So that gives you the ability to, if need be, change your choice a little bit, which could change your truth. And
And
that's
that's where we
okay.
become when that's where we become prisoner, right? You're like, "But I've
Yeah.
already spoken this. Now what's gonna happen?" People may not if you're visible on social media, people may not, follow me any longer. They might, leave my group. They might this, they might that, whatever it might be, and there's this fear of owning that new, but you said it, when you can do it outside and see it as an observer, it changes you, and you allow yourself to flow with that change.
Yeah. So the continuous of the continued practice of going inward is not the only way. We go
Mhm.
inward so we can go above to see. And it goes hand in hand. So I know we talk a lot about looking within and working within and understanding the truth of our soul, but the soul allows our spiritual energy to travel above to see from a new lens, to see with more clarity, to allow
Yeah.
yourself to make the changes that need to be made, and to be fearful of, because you did speak something. There's nothing wrong with changing your mind. There's absolutely
There
nothing wrong with changing your
there's
mind.
your freedom. There's the freedom, right? That's what we were talking about, freedom, personal freedom, but we can get tied up, in knots
Yeah,
based on other people. So that's one of the things that we were talking about, is bringing this to the forefront to truly own your personal freedom. It's not external. It's not outside, but we do that to ourselves. We're like, "Oh,
we
no, I
do.
can't. I already said that. I can't." Yes, you can. You get that choice again and again and again. It's kind of like, for me anyway, and it happens in meditations, it also happens in dreams, where we have the least resistance to our thoughts, that what we were talking about, tick, 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 right? And you come out of a dream sometime, you're like, "Oh my gosh," right? If you can remember it and hold on to it. I set the intention before I go into my dream at night to receive what I could not receive during the day, which as much as I try, I still have blinders on. I still am like emotionally driven at times, but I know at night I have the least amount of resistance. So, let me receive it and let me remember it, please, at some point.
Yeah, let me remember it. But if
Yeah.
if you're if you're really open and ready to receive it, you will remember it.
Yeah. Yeah. Absolutely. And sometimes it's not like I don't look for it when I wake up in the morning.
Right.
Really, well, I mean, I'll say, I'll try to look and I'm like, "Oh, don't remember." But it doesn't mean it's not there. So just continue to stay open throughout your day.
Yeah, it'll reveal itself
Yeah.
when the time is
And it
right.
and it may not reveal itself in the form of a dream as much as like an open part of your heart, or like, "Oh, that doesn't bother me as much as I thought it would," or that, those kinds of things. It's not like, "Oh, here was my dream." It was more of a download that could be in there and available when I'm ready.
Mm, yeah, I definitely know about the downloads. I can't remember if I talked about that here or not, but sometimes, one time I was drifting off into sleep, and I found myself in that state of consciousness where I was in between the two worlds, right? The conscious world and the unconscious
Mhm.
world. And all of a sudden, do you remember back in the day when computers were still kind of new and a virus would come onto the
Oh my
computer?
gosh.
Oh, I just said the V word. I hope we don't get like, oh geez. I don't mean that. Facebook, I don't mean that.
We're talking computers.
We're talking, yeah, yeah, yeah. So then the box would appear, and then the
Yes.
box, and then the box, and then the box, and it would be like, right? And they would just like pan out. You're just like, oh my God, I'm being invaded. Um, so that's what happened. I started to see a box, and in the box, it was black with the green letters. Like, I'm talking like the very first
Like
computer,
DOS, MS
right?
DOS.
DOS, exactly. And so I'm trying to read what it says, and I'm like, "You're going too fast. I can't read it. I can't comprehend it." And then all of a sudden, boom, 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 windows kept appearing with all these green letters, and I was like, "Okay, I'm receiving a download. It's all going to reveal itself when it needs to be." And honestly, it's the book that I'm writing right now. And it's revealing itself a little bit at a time.
Tiny
It's
piece.
revealed itself throughout my journals. And so it's about that patience, and knowing that things will come to you in the pieces, in the segments, as they need to be revealed. But you also have to take the actions through the recognitions, through the acceptance, through the awareness, through the
Mhm.
thoughts, and changing, and making those expansive, explosive opportunities for yourself. This is about choice. The awareness, the enlightenment, the awakening, that's not going to come to you magically in a magic 8 ball. It's
Oh, I
going to,
thought it was. I
I
live
know,
by
me
like
too.
the fake one. I'm like, "I know how this is gonna turn out." No, I don't. Thank goodness, because things have turned out so much better than I ever could have imagined.
Exactly. Right. Sometimes I thank God for unanswered prayers. We think we
All the
know what's
time.
right for us. We think we know what we want, but when we actually start investigating what it is, it turns out to be something completely different. And that's why I
Mhm.
liked in the beginning where we asked everybody what was personal freedom to them. There's a lot of common ground for sure, but I can guarantee you, as you continue with your enlightenment journey, that freedom is going to look differently along the way.
Without question. I'm just looking at some of these. There's no question it will. There's a new long one. I'm trying to see. It's easier than on my computer. Can you see it on your end?
I like this. Changing your mind does not change your purity of your heart. It's so true. But I think the fear of changing your mind and being outspoken about it comes into the fear of being judged again.
Yes, definitely. That is a
Um,
place.
let's see here. Stacy says, how can you not change your thoughts, ideas, and beliefs when you're constantly in expansion? Exactly. I mean, that's what I was just saying. You know, the definition of what it is you're seeking is going to change. It's going to shift along the way. Happiness looks different for everybody. Unconditional
Mhm.
happiness is a whole nother story. You know, it's your birthright to be happy, and it's your choice how you want to get there. If you want to get there, do you really want to get there? Is a bigger question, right? Do you really, is that really what you want? Because by the looks of some people I know, they thrive in negativity. That's where they think they're getting their powers from. And
Mhm.
um, it's overbearing for me at this point in my life. I'm just like, this energy
Well, you
is
get to
not
make the
where I
personal
want to be.
you have the personal freedom to not associate,
Not engage. Yeah.
not
Definitely
engage,
not
not
engage.
they can be there. We can all coexist, and it doesn't mean that we have to absorb or take in and be tofu to their energy, right?
Mhm. Exactly. Which is also a practice. It just doesn't happen like this. It's something we have to, again, change the dialogue in our thoughts, change that loop. Let's take out that cassette recorder,
Yes.
that cassette tape, right? And let's insert a new one.
Well, at least move into like a CD age or possibly an MP4.
Well,
Yeah.
I said cassette because what's nice about the cassette is that you could actually the tape would get caught and it would
Yeah,
rip,
it would be a mess, right? I mean,
right?
like
So you had no choice
you
but
were
to put a
trying to
new tape in.
and in the meantime, the amount of energy, like I would like remember the little finger like put my
Oh
fingers
my
in there,
God,
put
with
like
a
a pencil
pencil.
in there and try to so like yeah, we're gonna make this faster. It doesn't have to be so hard.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. Oh, hi ladies, just joining. I have to catch the replay. Well, we hope that you do. And, that's funny that she says that. I'm assuming it's a she, it's a Facebook user. Um, but all of our episodes are on YouTube. They're also on Spotify. They're also on Anchor. They're also on, help me out, Jen. What are some of the other platforms that,
Google,
Google
um,
Play?
yeah.
So Google the
I don't think
Connect. Google.
we don't have it on Google. I don't think we have it on iTunes, but there's like I have to look back, but it's Spotify, it's Anchor, it's Google Play. I don't
I meant
there's
to
one
look
other
that
one.
up. Yeah,
There's
there's
one
a
other one.
handful of them. So I really should start sharing that because you can listen to us on the go. And
Mhm.
it's a lot of
We will
thought-provoking
travel with you.
information. We will travel with you. It's also a great way to journal your thoughts. Take some of our hot topics and some of the questions that happen throughout. Write down the questions and then allow yourself to journal on those thoughts throughout the next month. You don't have to figure out everything we said and how it applies to you right now, but take what feels right and take what makes you want to know more within yourself.
Mhm.
Write those questions down in your journal. And between now and next month's episode, which is always the first, well, not always, but we try to be the first Sunday of every
Yeah.
month, and write about them and see how many shifts you can make with the loops of thoughts in your head between now and October.
Because that's the goal. It's a shift, right?
Yeah, exactly.
Which
So
it says it's Heather. I'm sorry, I'm looking at this.
not sure why my name didn't show up. That is because StreamYard needs your permission to um, allow your name to show up. There's always a link provided with the post that I think, isn't there? There's supposed
I
to
think
be.
so.
I posted it this morning. I tried to do it real quick on my laptop while I was blow drying my hair, and I had no glasses on. And then I realized I like misspelled everything because I couldn't see what the heck I was doing. But judge me if you want, but that's just me, and that's the
No
way it
judgment.
is.
You have the freedom to write everything all misspelled.
Everything wrong, as long as you can read between the lines.
Yes.
It's all good.
Keep spreading the deep insight and probing into thoughts, ladies. Really helps me. I like that. Calibrate.
Oh, I like that. It helps me calibrate my truth. Yeah, thank you for that. Um,
Yeah, we get wrapped up in the thoughts of others, depending on the circle of people you work with, live with. Like, we need to create pockets of this so that sometimes we can go, I don't think I'm crazy, but I need a something to calibrate me. I need a balance. And so that's what's really important that you find in your own life, in your own personal life. And thank goodness for things like we complain about Facebook all the time or Instagram. Not complain, but we talk
I'm
about
grateful for
freedom,
Facebook. I
right?
really
But
am.
I am too because I'm willing to, yeah, you know what? I don't own it. And everyone can choose to, again, it's personal freedom. They can choose to not let certain things in, to whatever. But
Yeah,
I am totally grateful because I have pockets of this type of conversation. That doesn't happen everywhere.
yeah. It definitely does not. Um, Stacy says, "Hey, at the time that was the lens you saw through." I think I was typing blindly, but that is a lens too, right? We see through. um, Here's one thing that I want to finish with, and I don't know if you want to finish with anything, but one way to discover your own personal freedoms is to bring more joy into your life. So, moving forward today and every day, I want you to think about ways that you can cultivate more joy in your life. Little ways. It could be a memory that you had with a special someone where you just sat and you laughed and laughed and laughed until you almost peed your pants about something so ridiculous. But if you think back to the beginning when we were talking about how your body doesn't know the difference between physical reality and the non-physical reality of the thought. If you go back to that space and you bring in that pure laughter, that laughter of no judgment and we don't care and this is so stupid, it's funny, and you're
Mm,
crying because you're laughing so hard, your body is going to experience that moment again. And that joy will be sparked with a new light, which will attract more joy into your life. So, watch a funny movie, listen to a funny joke, do something that's going to make you happy, make you laugh, and even make you cry in a happy way to cultivate
mm.
more of what it is that you're looking for.
Yeah, definitely pivot out of where that those are great examples of how to get out of something that you're sitting in.
Yeah.
The
Get up and
other
move
thing,
around.
dance, right?
Yes.
The other message I was hearing actually as I'm like, "No, I didn't have anything," until you were like, and if you have anything else, I'm like, "Oh, so you were talking about that?" I was like, "Oh, okay." Here's the other thing. I'm like, "Oh, okay, okay." That's pretty much what I say to them. Like, sometimes I'm like, "Okay, fine." But, like, today I was like, "Oh, okay," at this very moment. Um, Trust your instincts and trust your knowing over asking for signs. That's what I was just now as I'm
Mm.
sitting here. And I know this could be a whole nother topic for another whole, but I had to share it because it's what came through. And I wasn't going. And then you said, and if you have anything, I'm like, no. Oh, I do. Here's the thing that they just showed me, like really, really quickly. When the house I'm living in right now was not the house that we were air quotes supposed to get. And you said something about unanswered prayers, but so this kind of connects with this as we finish off, but it's really about trusting your instincts. I was very much in a point in my life where I was down spiral, things had happened and I was coming up. and we put in for this house that everything went smoothly. Everything, this changed how I look at life. Here's why, because it all went so smoothly, from loving the people to the house being perfect where it was, all the things, to the real estate, to getting the number we wanted. And I don't know if you do this, but for me, many times it's like, this was meant to be, right? This was
Yeah.
meant to be. Like, I took that as a sign. This was, and I'm like getting chills right now. This was meant to be. And we didn't get the house. And it rocked
Mm-hmm.
my world. It was down to like the last 6 hours of that 3-day period of blah, 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 whatever, and someone literally knocked on the door. They walked up to the door, knocked on the door, and offered them more money, asked them how much they were getting, and then offered them more. And I will never forget that, because it rocked my belief system, because up until then, it all seemed like if it went smoothly like that, that was a sign. This was meant to be. And what I learned from that, I can't believe we're bringing this back. What I learned from that was that it doesn't always go that way. Sometimes, and it's not about pushing or trying to make something work that's not working. There's a difference there, right? But sometimes things come up. How much do you want this? How willing are you to shift? How willing are you to get uncomfortable and stand in your truth or stand in your voice, right? So it's not just about it all going smoothly. But that shook me for a
Mm.
long time. I'm like, I don't understand. I kept literally was like, I don't understand, but I saw all the signs, right? So the message that's coming through is, stop asking for the
Mm.
outside signs and start
Mm-hmm.
looking for, what does this feel like for me? 'Cause we've moved so far away from trusting ourselves,
Mm-hmm.
trusting our truth, trusting our knowing. That's what we're being asked to return to, right? Trusting ourselves. And then the signs come afterwards. It's
Yeah,
almost like a, oh yeah, thanks for letting me know. I already knew.
exactly.
I already chose, but thanks for that.
Yeah.
I already
I
chose.
I, I have always never looked to the signs for confirmation of a yes or a no, but for a
Mhm.
confirmation of you're right where you're supposed to be.
Yeah,
And we
that's
are
a
with
feeling.
you.
Yeah,
Yes. And we are
yeah,
connected. So
right.
keep moving forward. Don't give up.
That's a beautiful way to do it, because so many times, and really big people that we know of that we won't name, and important people in the spiritual community, if you want to say, will say, look for, ask for a sign. And then people get so wrapped up, is that, but which way is this? Is this my sign for? Is this my sign against? And then by the time you're done, your head is like scrambled, and you're not going to, is this from my higher self? Is this in my chakras that I can feel it? Is this my knowing, right? Because you're relying on that outside, or it didn't come. What should I do? Again, relying on something on the outside. So
Yeah,
I love that. No, the confirmation that you're safe, that you're in the right place. Those are the signs that you ask for,
absolutely.
that you feel good. So I
Yeah, we
love
can
that.
definitely get caught up in that. All right. So I pulled a
So
card.
dance and
I
be joyful and trust yourself. That's pretty much what we're ending
exactly.
with.
I thought we were concluding, but they told me to pull a card. So you get us for a few more minutes, everybody. This is card number 18. It's got the 8 in it, right?
Mhm,
But 1 plus 8 is 9, which is 3 times 3. 3 is such a power number, 3 times over. Feelings are the leader of your emotions, the guidance of your actions. So how
perfect is
perfect.
that.
Look at
Ooh,
the
there it
path.
came. It came.
And it's a fall card, right? Look
I
at
was gonna
it's
say it's
fall
fall
leaves.
card.
Oh my goodness.
Mhm.
So trust those feelings because they're leading your emotions and they're leading your actions. And the feeling is your vehicle. So which do you want to go for the ride or do you want to lock the door and go back in the house?
Mm.
You know, I mean, think about it. Like, is this
Depends on
really
my
the path
day.
you
No.
want to drive down? And there's a big clock in here. And that is about the time of divinity, not the time that's on our watch. So
Mhm.
be mindful of everything happens in divine timing. That's about patience and waiting the arrival of what is to appear next for you
Without fear.
without fear, without judgment.
Mhm.
That's personal
Thank
freedom.
you. Thank you. I feel like it was such a see, we never knew where we had an idea. We had like the umbrella and then it just went from there.
Yeah, it was. Oh, I just got chills. So thank you for that. See, now that's a beautiful sign that you are right on the right path and that we were
Mhm.
able to reach somebody. And that's what
Mhm.
this is about. So if you enjoyed today, let us know and share this with people that may need to hear a beautiful message that is in here. Please check out the YouTube replays as well as I think I'll go ahead and put a list in this feed
Okay.
of all the different outlets that you can go ahead and sign up for so that you can listen to us on the go and
Yeah. And
be on your merry way.
we just need to keep expanding in that light, right? We need to just keep finding doesn't mean finding people that agree with you, but it means finding people that will spark a thought, a
Yeah,
thought in your heart to move on from there. So thank you for joining. People were so active today.
I love it. Thank
I'm
you,
so
all of
great,
you.
so
I
grateful.
appreciate all of you. I appreciate you, my good friend Jen.
No, and you. And it's just today felt very full. Like
It
really did feel
did.
like
I don't wanna
it did not.
leave. There's
Yeah,
something very
like
comfortable.
yeah,
Something
and
very comforting that is happening right now. The
and a
energy is
beautiful
just
energy.
absolutely
Yeah,
beautiful.
yeah. Not a angry but a beautiful flow of
No, it
energy.
feels
So
good.
so thank you. Yeah.
A little moment of personal freedom, right?
Yes.
All
You got
right.
it.
Everybody
Have a
have a
great
beautiful day.
great
Happy
Sunday.
fall, and we will be seeing you guys soon.
Take
Bye.
care.